Welcome to the BVTV Network, coming to you from the UK studios of BizVision. I'm your host, Malcolm Gallagher. This is episode 3 in the BVTV CSR Trilogy with social responsibility expert Richard Collins. Hello for the final time, Richard.
Hello, Malcolm, and glad to be back for the final time. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it won't be the final time. I'm just saying it's the final time for this trilogy. You do realise
for this trilogy. I do know, yes.
Yeah. Richard, in an off-air chat that we had, you said forward-thinking businesses are starting to look at the value and the ROI, return on investment, of social responsibility, almost as a profit centre. Can you tell us more about this important development?
Well, that's right. And I think something that we have to learn as an organisation is that, what are the drivers for social responsibility? I mean, 5 or 10 years ago when we were thinking about this, social responsibility was important and there was evidence that a lot of organisations were doing it. As I said, it's not only, it's been around for a long time now. But as we come out of the pandemic, I think more people have realised where the true value of social responsibility is. And we boldly say that the future shape of business will be measured in both financial and social value. So challenging the meaning of value, because, how do you value things like happiness and satisfaction and all these other things? So what we wanted to do is look at that return on social investment and that social return on investment. And that return on social investment very much does look at that profit center, that new profit center that organizations can achieve through delivering evidenced and validated social responsibility. And I think that starts off, number one, with staff. A few years ago, Gallup did a poll that suggested that only 11% of the staff in the UK were engaged in their jobs. I mean, if you could shift that dial by a very small amount, you would make a significant difference to productivity. And social responsibility is one of those drivers that engages staff in a positive way, because it does deliver that sense of value and purpose. So if you can create engagement and reduced absenteeism, and you can create retention, so what you're doing there is you're already improving productivity and you're also reducing your training costs, because you're keeping your staff, because you're engaging them in a way that creates value and they create advocacy in loyalty in their jobs. And then the thing we touched about in the last segment was around recruitment. We are seeing that, that new generation are desperately looking for jobs that deliver value and purpose. And, recently we came across a poll that suggested that 5 or 6 years ago, the top jobs in the UK for degree students were primarily in law and finance, whereas the top jobs at the end of the last year had shifted to the third sector and public sector. So, degree students looking to go to work for jobs where there was purpose and value. Yeah. And then, as you know, we have the rise of ESG, which has been around for a while now. So that's environment, social and governance. ESG is the way that the investment markets effectively measure CSR as an indicator for investing in a company. So it's about kind of risk mitigation as well. No one wants to buy shares in a company or buy a company or invest in a company that may be doing something negative towards the environment or towards its workforce. And there are examples of that. So we feel that by becoming CSR accredited, you actually deliver a level of ESG compliance, and you can use that for your ESG reporting. But also the rise of tendering. I mean, we are talking to tendering companies now that are saying that in some cases, social responsibility and sustainability scores as much as 30 points in the tendering document. So what is the cost of not winning a tender? What is the cost of not recruiting the right staff? What's the cost of not retaining and engaging your staff? It stacks up. And then finally, you've got reputation and your supply chain as well. So maximizing your values with your supply chain, because supply chains are being rethought based on those values. And if you can't deliver, you may not stay in that supply chain. And also in terms of that reputation as well as an organization, because that's how we consumers are making spending decisions now on businesses that are doing the right thing and seem to be doing the right thing. Now, all of that stacks up quite a lot in terms of your bottom line. And I genuinely believe that businesses that don't start doing this now will struggle in the future to stay in business.
Yeah. Interestingly, I was interviewing Balfour Beatty recently, a large building company, as everybody will know, worldwide. And they are so focused upon social value, social responsibility, and communicating it down their supply chain to such an extent is that if you do illustrate correctly and authentically, now that's the word, authentically in this case, then you're going to stand better to be one of their suppliers, which is wonderful, isn't it?
Well, this is true, and you can see. I think obviously, if you're in business, you're in business to make money, and if you're in a large business, you've got your shareholders to think about. Yes. So and so we can't deny that is what the key driver is, and we're not saying don't make money. In fact, we're not saying that at all. We're saying that by building capacity and investing in social responsibility, you will get a return, and we need to show that return and show that you can deliver it. Touching on what you've just said there, we have to make sure that this isn't box ticking either. We're not just going to go and support a charity because we're expected to support a charity. We've got to make sure that we're doing it authentically, and we're validating it, and we are reporting it and communicating it. So it is about, the 4 pillars and the accreditation do allow you to benchmark what you're doing, to record it, to communicate it, and to measure it, and show the impact you're making. So, but the other side of the coin is the social return on investment as well. So that's about delivering the good, delivering the impact, delivering that positive engagement. So enriching the quality of life for all people by allowing that social value to be part of the work environment and the organizational environment and cultural environment. So we want to be able to show how we can improve the happiness and the healthiness of the workforce, how we can include diversity and inclusion, gender equality, how we can improve employability and inclusivity, and all of these things, and how they contribute, and how we can improve the communities. Because by doing these little things, they have these huge, like looking after the community. You then have a healthy community that you work and live in, and a healthy workforce, and it all works together. So it all slots together very nicely. So the social value is very important. Arguably, I would say more important sometimes than the financial value. But I think we're getting that balance between social value and financial value. Purpose and value is also within the working environment.
Excellent. Thanks, Richard. Now, let's give viewers and listeners details of your URL for the final time. It's obviously, viewers, you can see it on the screen behind me, but for listeners, take it down as follows. All the W's CSR-accreditation.co.uk. That's all the W's, CSR-accreditation.co.uk. Here at the BVTV Conscious and Better Business channel, we're proud to be partnering with Richard's organisation to help bring you both become and show your commitment to social responsibility. And remember that word authentic that we've used a number of times through our conversation in this trilogy. But as we were progressing through the trilogy, my mind kept flashing back to all those years of standing on a stage or talking to an audience about CSR and getting a disinterested look on people's faces. Now, maybe I didn't make it sound exciting enough, or maybe I was just too early for it all. Who knows? But what I do know is that I'm so glad that Richard Collins and his team at CSR are helping us all be better people and better businesses. Thanks, Richard, for a great trilogy.
Thank you, Malcolm. It's been an absolute pleasure.